Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearthed. Thank you for listening to the show today. Let's see what topic we get into after the intro. What is going on? Welcome back to Lawn Dude Unearthed. Now, as you know, when I come on these podcasts, as you hear, I'm going right into it. When I'm talking these podcasts, I like to go with what comes to mind. I'm sitting here kind of struggling with what's coming to mind as far as how to actually say it correctly. But I'm just going to say what I'm thinking. So there's really no sugarcoating this as far as running a business is hard. It's complicated. That's like the best I got for that, man. There's really no sunshine and rainbows, you know what I mean? Like, everybody always makes it seem like it's so great to own a business. But a lot of people that you hear saying that are the ones who are single or who are great with their funds, their money. And even a lot of the real successful people that you know, they're either divorced, they're single, or they don't have kids, or if they do have kids, they're not trying to be present and be at all their events, or maybe they want to be, but they're willing to sacrifice all that to be successful. I've said it since day one. I'm going to continue to say it to this day. I'm not willing to sacrifice my marriage. I'm not willing to sacrifice being a father. Those are non-negotiables for me. I'm not willing to sacrifice being a man of God. Non-negotiables for me are all those, man. So I say all that because one of the reasons why I decided to go full-time as a business owner is because those who know from listening to my background, but those who don't know my background, I used to work sun up to sundown for the last place of employment for me before I went full time. I was the manager of that company, and I was the first one there and the last one to leave. That's how I've been everywhere I've gone. You know, every single Saturday, sun up to sundown, we were mowing, doing my business on the side. I was basically a truck in the truck at that point in time. You know, I did have a business name. I made things overly complicated. I've always had the legal name, even when we were just Saturdays. I probably had more equipment than anyone should have had just for a Saturday weekend warrior, pretty much. But the equipment allowed us to get through almost 30 stops every single Saturday without an issue, and we traveled quite a bit. So I provide that context to let you know where I came from to get to where I'm at now, where I'm basically not working any weekends. Yes, I've gone out more Saturdays this year than any other year because of situations I put myself in with the cash flow not being right and wanting to take a stand and fix the finances to where my family and I are able to do more things, because right now we're just not able to do all the things we would like to do because the finances aren't where we would like them to be. They're not where I would like them to be. Me as the man of the house, I feel that responsibility. I feel that pressure. And you know what? I want all the pressure. Pause. As far as making things happen, because I feel like if I didn't feel any pressure, if I didn't feel any pressure from anything on this, then I would have to have myself checked, because in the best way I could phrase it right now, I am not in the position where I feel like you shouldn't feel some type of, pressure, because there are so many things that go through mind. I think the one thing that I've been real good at is investing time with my family. I think one thing that can still get to me this day and age, as far as like that can get under my skin, is if I'm ever told that I'm not present when it comes to my wife and kids, because I strive every day to do that. Each and every day I strive to do that, and it is tough to, not even business part. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm gonna be completely candid with you. Am I allowed to be 100 with y'all right now? Am I allowed to tell y'all the truth? Am I allowed to give you the real deal, Holyfield? Well, keeping it 110% honest, keeping it on 1,000 with y'all, man. There are many times when I don't like owning a business, and I'd rather go back to a 9 to 5, man. I'd rather just have a 9 to 5. Just something I clock into and clock out of, man. Somewhere where I can have like sick days and vacation time and all that. And it's not because I'm a quitter. Believe that, I'm not. It's just because I'm always striving to keep my priorities in check. And sometimes running a business, it's hard to do that. Like if you're low on income, you got to do more jobs, which means you have to work more. And unfortunately, sometimes, there are things when you're trying to do everything with your wife and kids that it's not so easy to do, because you're trying to also make up the income to cover what you need to cover. And this more so applies to the owner operator, because like myself, because I'm not even gonna lie to you, I feel like when you have a couple crews that you can rely on, it becomes a lot more simplified when it comes to trying to get through certain situations. So I've decided, man, that one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to have to really evaluate which clients I would like to move forward with going into 2025. And honestly, I love servicing a lot of properties that I'm able to service, but I also have to be profitable. It's like my furthest route out, coincidentally, I did today. It's not an area I'm in. I'm in Northern Virginia. We do have a route down in Stafford, Virginia, which for us is probably, I think when I mapped it out, it's about 12 to 15 miles away. We used to do Fredericksburg, which was about 30 miles one way. Thank God I got rid of that. But Stafford, I've been debating on getting rid of this route, because while it seems profitable, I really need to add up on paper if it is profitable for me to be out the area. And on top of that, me trying to be the best I can be as a father and a husband, I like to always be in the area of my house. Not only my house, but area of my kids' schools. Because fortunately, between my wife and I, even my parents, somebody's always able to get to someone in the case of emergency. But it's still important for me to be close at all times, just because, like I said, I'm trying to do my best not only to be in the area, but also to be profitable. Because, like I said, while I'm sitting here thinking this is profitable, maybe that drive that I'm taking to get down there every week, every Wednesday when I do that area, maybe it's making me not so profitable, because you gotta think that's a couple I could have did after you add up the time it takes me to drive down there, the time it takes me to drive back. I could have did more properties up this way where I'm actually like located, keeping my route density a lot tighter, a lot closer. And then it's also like, I think one thing for sure I want to do is shout out to Brian's Lawn Maintenance, man. He has a pricing calculator that I'm looking to get for both the snow and for the landscaping, so I can kind of put my numbers in, and really, even though I have a labor rate that I've increased since I am an owner operator out there doing the services, I charge for my equipment, all that. I would like to get a better grasp on those numbers and make sure I'm charging just right. So I am looking to get both of those, and I usually redo all our contracts the week of Thanksgiving. I usually try to take that week off to do nothing but like redo the contracts for the next year. So this year, I really want to put my numbers in those calculators, and then send my contracts out, and raise up prices. Even though I've been raising them up, I want to raise them up where they actually should be. I want my minimums to be where they actually should be, so I know that I'm profitable going into 2025. Shout out to Alex Wells from Mo Wells. I reached out to him as well because he has templates for 12-month contracts, which, by the way, I've already been utilizing these for commercials for probably the last 5-6 years. And then certain residentials we've been doing for about the same amount of time, but we tried to shift a lot of people into it a couple years ago. 12-month fixed payment. You add up everything and you divide it by 12, and that's what they pay every month. We started doing this again a couple years ago, and then I had people drop off, and they were like, yeah, because of this payment method, we no longer would like your services. And so I backed off of that a little bit, and even some people that said they weren't going to sign back up, I'm like, well, you can go with the old payment method. Looking back at that, I still feel like that was a mistake, because all that did was keep me in a situation like this past year with that infamous drought I keep talking about. Or when you get rain coming in, you feel like you still have to go out and service the properties because you have to keep income coming in. With 12-month plans, you're not as concerned about any of that, and you're able to keep everything going. And if there is a client or a potential client that's ever listening to this podcast, I know what the thought is. The thought is, oh, well, wintertime, I'm still paying you guys. Or if you guys skip us because of a drought, I'm still paying you guys. Well, what's not being understood is all of us as business owners, we have to continue to upkeep all equipment, maintenance everything. There are times in the spring where we're cutting your property 2-3 times because it's growing rapidly. That's the times where it makes up for times where we have to skip your property. So at the end of the day, everybody is winning when it's a 12-month payment plan. I just didn't see that a couple of years ago. I was worried about losing a bunch of people, and I reverted back to what I was already on. Which the problem with that is, you have a year like this year where it ends up becoming a rough year because I didn't plan for it the way I should. It's nobody's fault but my own. I don't sit around pointing fingers, playing the blame game, man. That's not my style. It's not how I operate. So like I said, running a business is hard, man. It is freaking hard, man. It's tough. Like when you're a guy like me who wants to do their best, like priorities, my priorities are always in check, man. I want to be the best, when it comes to everything. I always set the bar so high for myself. I'm trying to do better on my walk as a man of God. I feel like I fell short on that many times, as we all do. I'm trying to do my best as a husband and as a father. I feel like I fall short there, as we all do, I'm sure. But it's unacceptable to me to fall short in those just because where I set the bar at. I love I love my family. If anybody thinks anything other than that, you're entitled to your own opinion. But you know what? I love my family. I'll do anything for them. I do my best to do anything for them all the time. Sometimes as a business owner though, you get stuck in those situations where you're looking at your accounts receivable, and you're just like, uh, how do I come up with this? How do I come up with that? If I keep going along this trend, I'm gonna be negative a couple thousand, something like that. When you see stuff like that and you forecasting your accounts and seeing how much you have due, I'm not sitting here making an excuse, but when those situations happen, honestly, you feel like the best thing you can do for your family is go out and work. But I think, I know for me, the man in me, I'd be lying if I didn't say I worry about how that's perceived sometimes. I want to know when I go out that, my wife and kids understand why I have to go out, why I have to grind, why I have to hustle. Sometimes, as a man, you're concerned that those that are near and dear to your heart that you love deeply may not may sometimes wonder like why you had to do what you had to do, or why you couldn't be there for this. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm there for pretty much everything when it comes to everyone. That's just how I am. I try my hardest. I strive for this. But once again, running a business is hard. It is difficult. It is tough. It is frustrating. It is stressful. Sometimes it's depressing. But at the same time, while I sit here and complain and say, well, not even complain, sit here and vent. I've been in this field for so long. I've been running business for so long, running businesses, because even when I was managing the last job, I was running that place. Been doing this for so long that I know that there are many ups and downs. One up, I would say, is just having the flexibility. I work a 9 to 5. You can't just get up and go a lot of times when you need to get up and go. But with me being self-employed, I can sit here and say I can get up and go when I need to get up and go. If I feel like somebody in my family needs me, one of my family members need me, I can go. Yeah, you'll have to figure out how to make up whatever you didn't finish, but it kind of is what it is. You build up a good enough relationship with your clientele, most times they'll understand. I mean, I'm sure it gets difficult when you're constantly telling the same clients, you know what I mean, you're going to get them another day, but it ends up being whatever it is. It is what it is. I've never liked that phrase, but you know what? It really is what it is. So take it for a grain. Take it for a grain here, man. Reason why I say all this is because we run businesses, most who listen to this, and I know there are some who haven't even started yet who will listen to this, man. I'm going to tell you right now, before you start a business, evaluate everything. Evaluate everything. I'm gonna be completely 100% with you. If you are single, if you don't have kids, it's probably gonna be easier for you to just do whatever you need to do, and this really isn't gonna apply to you as much. But I want to talk to the ones who have families. That's the people who I've always been looking to talk to. Because since I've been full time with this business, I've been married and I've had kids, and that's what who I'm looking to talk to, who I'm looking to, I guess, appeal to. So, like I said, it is pretty frustrating when you have those who just don't understand any of these. But you gotta do what you gotta do what you gotta do as a family man, I guess, or family man or woman. Gotta do what you gotta do. But we pull up our pants and we just keep moving forward. We keep our head held high. We don't get upset in these situations. Yes, it's easy to do that. It's easy to stress yourself completely out. And believe me, I'm no person to give advice on how not to stress themselves out because I still do it often. I stay up late at night. I stay up all night pretty much trying to figure out how to make this work, how to make that work, how to manage time. Something I still haven't figured out. Managing time is like the toughest thing to figure out. But it's almost like, what can you do? Except strive to continue to do well. Alright, y'all. That's all I have for today. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Lawn Dude Unearthed. We talk about all kinds of things here. The good stuff, the tough stuff, and everything in between. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and have a blessed day.